In this video, I'm gonna be breaking down my most up-to-date way on figuring out pricing on concrete jobs. So listen, the average concrete contractor only makes 7% profit, which is terrible, meaning your pricing and even being off a little bit is quite literally the difference between you making good profit and none. So we're gonna be covering what's wrong with most concrete companies and how they price projects, how to actually do it to almost guarantee a true profit, and I'm gonna be breaking down pricing on an actual concrete job site that my crew just got done with. When I did this, I went from basically being broke at $1 million a year in revenue, which I know sounds crazy, to then changing the way that I did pricing, and then I increased my profit to $200,000 a year, which then allowed me to scale to $4 million because I finally had profit to reinvest back in the business, hire team, etc. And it's the same system a lot of our clients are using at Concrete CEO. So the very first thing that we want to do is address what's wrong with the current way that a lot of concrete guys price their projects, which is a price per square foot model. And the simple thing with price per square foot is that it's simple and it's easy. All you have to do is you take your square feet and you multiply it by your standard rate. So to calculate that is easy, it's literally length times width times standard rate, and that's why a lot of concrete guys do it. But what happens is there's variability on an average job, right? So I want you guys to imagine, right? There's steps going down the side of a hill, or maybe you have a raised patio, or the access is bad. And the real problem with the system is it does not capture overhead, right? So all of these jobs, even though it's say 500 square feet for a custom patio that's multi-layered with crazy steps with terrible access that you have to do demo, is gonna literally take 5 times longer than 500 square feet. That's basically 5 driveway squares that you drive right up to, pull out, and pour back that same day, right? And so the real problem with this is if it takes more time, it's not only more labor, and that's where people go wrong, is it's way more overhead, because every single day that you use in your business is not just costing you labor, it's costing you all the business expenses that you essentially are paying for, everything from taxes, insurance, etc. So what do you do instead? It's a system that I developed called the GPP model, which stands for Guaranteed Profit Pricing System. And in short, it's labor hours on a project times your hourly rate, which I'm going to teach you how to calculate, plus your materials times your markup, plus your miscellaneous expenses times your markup. And if you do that, the best part is your overhead is captured in the man hours. I'm going to be breaking this down next for you guys in the video. So essentially, here's what we have to do. The step 1 of the GPP model is you have to calculate your overhead, because that's what this entire pricing model is based off. We have things like advertising, admin wages, depreciation, any type of bad debt. That means if a customer does not pay you, right, you have to actually budget for things like that. General liability, umbrella, other expenses could even be fuel, maintenance, repairs. You got your payment processing fees, payroll, accounting and legal fees, bank fees. I mean, you name it. What you want to do is go through and list all of your business overhead and actually write it down, right? But here's where a lot of people go wrong. They only think about overhead that's planned. Things like, they're like, oh yeah, my budget for marketing is 50 grand, and they write 50 grand down. That's great. Everyone knows how to do that part. What they miss are things that are the whoopsies of concrete. Things like warranty, right? People always act like they're not gonna have to replace any jobs. Guys, guess what? We're in concrete. You're gonna have to replace some concrete. You're gonna have expenses there, right? People always act like their customers pay them for every single project 100%, right? I just got done with a customer. We made a little nick in her deck, and because we could not fix it by paint touch-up, she made us paint our entire deck, or she was gonna take us to court, leave terrible reviews, and the reviews were gonna cost more than fighting her. So we just decided to paint her deck, right? Things like this happen all the time. So the point is you wanna budget for things to go wrong, right? Warranty, your truck can have an engine that breaks down. All kinds of stuff can happen. So you want the known overhead and the unknown overhead, a budget for it, and then total all of that up. Step 2 is to calculate your total man hours if you're using in-house crews. Basically, what you want to do is you take the amount of people you have on your crew. You then need to multiply by how many hours they work per week, multiply that by 4, right? Because 4 weeks in a month approximately, and then you multiply that by how many months do they work per year. Like for instance, I'm in Colorado, my guys typically work about 10 months per year. So what you essentially want to do is run that entire calculation, total that up, and then here's again where I see a lot of people go wrong, is they think that's the amount of hours that they have to put towards jobs. But what I want to remind you guys is not every single one of our crew's hours is actually productive, because we lose time through things like spending time at the shop, company meetings, unplanned issues come up that you have to spend on warranty, right? So not every single hour that you have a guy on the clock is billable. So my rule of thumb is I take that total amount of labor, I then multiply that by 90%, because 10% is basically unbillable. And so you take your total labor, multiply by 0.9, and that's your actual amount of billable hours that you have every single year that you will basically be able to sell to your clients. Step 3, and here's where the magic happens, is what we want to do is we want to take our total overhead that we have for the entire year and we want to divide it by our billable man hours. And now we have this golden number, which is our overhead per hour. And what that number represents, right, is every single hour that one of your people are on a job is the amount of overhead that your business is using. That's the best part. So now we know exactly how much overhead is being used on a per hour basis that a guy is in the field. Step number 4 is we need to find our actual hourly costs. So what we want to do is we basically take the average costs that our guys cost us on an hourly basis, and then you need to add labor burden. I see people also mess that all the time. Labor burden is just the taxes that we have to pay to good old Uncle Sam and the government, basically to have employees. I know, it's really fun, right? So essentially, if you pay your guys $30 an hour, more than likely your actual rate that you're paying guys is at least $36 an hour. You have to check with your local state to find out exactly what that is. So essentially, you take your average, add in the taxes you have, now you have your actual labor cost. Then in step 5, you take your labor cost and you add in your overhead cost per hour, and that is the minimum amount that you need to charge in labor every single time that someone is essentially going to a project, right? So you have to predict how much labor a job's gonna take. You have your labor rate, you have your overhead rate, and then anything that you charge above that is actually going to profit for the business. So now that you guys understand this, it's gonna make a lot more sense if I show you how it works on an actual job site. So I'm gonna show you guys an image of a job site and break down the pricing. All right, guys, so here is the project that I'm actually going to show you guys how we bid here at my concrete company. So essentially what it is the homeowner of this house here has a driveway and then a city sidewalk in front of their driveway. And the sidewalk in front of their driveway is actually too high up and they keep scraping their cars. So essentially, we get clients like that all the time. And sometimes these are my favorite clients, because if someone really wants to invest money into fixing such a, first world problem like that, they're typically a pretty good client. And so what we essentially had to do is lower this big city sidewalk here in front of their driveway, which is going to be about 46 feet long, because we have to go from joint to joint and a little bit past the driveway on each side. And because we have to lower that, then we have to replace a little bit of their driveway too. So we're going 2 squares up. So essentially what we have is a 46 foot by 6 foot city sidewalk that's 6 inches thick, done to city code. And then we have a 540 square foot driveway that's 30 foot by 18 foot. So I'm going to show you guys how we actually price that. All right, guys, so this is my bid sheet here. This is actually how we price our project. So I'm going to show you exactly how we do that. And then before we do that too, so the part that we had talked about before, where you graph out your overhead of your business, this is actually how I do it in my business. So essentially we graph all of the overhead expenses here, admin wages, indirect wages, depreciation, all the things that I had told you guys about. We graph out also how many people that we have working for us, how many months they work for us, hours, the same thing that I told you guys. And essentially what it does is it spits out this pro forma profit and loss statement. But the big thing, right, is we have our hourly rate that we actually charge. I charge $120. We have that 9%, meaning that I expect about 9% of our hours to not go towards projects, right? Because there's all kinds of things on why projects take long. So my actual amount of total available hours is 21,435. And when I divide that by my overhead, this is my overhead per hour, right? So that $31 per hour that a guy is on the job, that's what my overhead is. So, and essentially what this does is it allows me to see at the very end of the year, not at the very beginning, right? Because a lot of accountants, they say, hey, this is what happened. That kind of drives me nuts because it's all past looking. This is forward looking. So I want to show you guys that. And essentially what we do is we take the numbers that we know that we need to charge based on this sheet. I input that here into my costs, right? So I'm going to show you guys that. So you can see here, I charge 42% on material markup, and we do $120 per hour as far as that's what we charge for labor, which includes my guys' costs, my overhead costs, and our profit margin on top of that. So with that being said, I just wanted you guys to understand. So let's kind of dive into it. So essentially what I normally do here is I know the square foot of concrete. And for me, that's 822 square feet. I'm going to do about 4.5 inches thick because the city sidewalk is a little bit thicker than the driveway, right? And that's not really like an exact science. You guys can see here, this is what's kind of cool, right? Is when you build a dynamic sheet like this, and you don't have to have a sheet like this, but what it all comes down to is how long something is going to take. So if I'm only demoing out 4 inches of concrete, well, that's going to be a little bit less time than if I'm demoing out a little bit more. Right? So that's kind of how we do that. On this driveway, right, you guys will see on the video, the whole entire driveway needs to be lowered. And on top of that, I need to get some of the dirt out so I could put my base rock in. So when I do this, I'm thinking that the whole entire piece from the city sidewalk and the actual concrete or the driveway is going to be lowered 2 inches. So again, that's going to add about 6 hours of my crew's time. So say if I have 3 people there, about another 2 hours on site to dig and haul away that dirt. Then what I'm going to have is 2 inches of base that entire time. So that's going to take about 4.6 hours. And for me, we only are going to be doing rebar on the actual customer's driveway, which is about 540 square feet. Versus city sidewalk, we can't, right? Because that's just code. And this part's cool too. So then we just have forming. So this does not have to be an exact science, guys, but I'm going to show you guys here because my sales rep is the one that actually like bid this. So I'm going to pull this onto my screen. This is the original quote. They were originally going to do all this top piece of the driveway here, but really they just opted to do here. So it's 18 feet here, 18 feet here of forming. We have all this stretch of forming, all this stretch of forming, and the rest is already formed, right? Because that meets the city street. This meets the city sidewalk. So really I have 18 feet, 18 feet. That's 36 feet total. And then I've got about, just call it 10 feet and 10 feet on each side. And that's essentially how much I'm doing, which would be a total of 56 feet. 56 feet, not really thickened edge, right? Just normal forming. What I might do, because you guys will see, as you guys saw in the video, there is a little bit of curb, right? And so I know this is going to take my guys a little bit longer to form, which isn't built into my sheet because it's a little extra. I'm just going to say, hey, that's going to take my crew another 3 hours to form because it's a little bit, different than what we normally do, right? But you'll see here, my guys can get that formed up pretty fast, about 3 hours to form normal plus another 3 hours. So for 3 guys on site, 6 total man hours, that means it's actually going to take about 2 hours to form the entire. And then what I do is I put in the total square foot into here. And this is where things get a little bit tricky, right? That's why I want to show you guys this job, because the normal concrete everywhere is 4 inches thick. However, the city sidewalk portion is going to be 6 inches thick. So I need to add a little bit of extra concrete. So how I do that, right, is I just add a little bit of extra concrete. So I know that the city sidewalk is 46 feet by 6. And I already have the 4 inches of concrete, right? Because I'm bidding everything at 4 inch. So that means I only need 2 inches more concrete just for this. So I know it's about 1.7 extra yards. And check this out too. This is what's kind of cool is I'm going to add 2 yards there. And that means it's going to take a little bit more time for my guys to actually pour out. So it's actually charging more labor. And I'm going to show you guys how this works. The only other thing that I have is a concrete pump, right? And I know some people wouldn't do that, but I don't like damaging the street and the rebar and all that stuff if the truck has to go from the street there. So we typically charge a concrete pump for that. So with that being said, that is essentially my bid, right? And what's cool is when you have a dynamic sheet, this is the package that the customer selected. So we present 3 packages to the customer. That's a little bit beyond the scope of this video here. But essentially what we are doing, right? It's the same thing that I tell you guys to do. And you don't need to have a sheet like this because you can do it manually. What I'm doing is I'm just adding up all my material, right? I'm saying, hey, I need 7 tons of base rock. I need 13.5 yards of concrete. I need 56 lineal feet of forms. I need this amount of rebar, right? And we do some integrated sealer in the concrete as well. And so that brings my total cost of all that to $3,414. After I apply my markup of that 1.42, that's actually what I get this, right? So this is actually what I'm charging the customer. So that's what I'm charging the customer as far as material. This is my actual cost. Then what I have is pump, right? We charge $800 for a pump. If you wanted, because I own my pumps, so it's a little bit different, but say if you get a local pump company, and let's just say that they charge you $500, right? 500 times 1.42. If that's your markup, right? You can charge about $700, $800, up to you on what you want to do for your pump and your equipment. And then this is the cool part too of our sheet, because this is really ultimately the trickiest part to bids, right? It's how long is something going to take? And the cool thing is we have our sheet and it estimates how long something should take based on our parameters that we have set. So it should take us about 14 hours, man-hour time to demo, another 6 hours for excavation, another 5 hours to backfill, another 3 hours for rebar, and about 3 hours for forming. And then I have these miscellaneous hours here. So really I have like 33 hours to prep this area. And you guys can see here, this is how I charge for the customer on labor, is I have a total of 66 hours here. I multiply that by my man-hour hourly rate, so 66 times 120. That's $7,920, right? Obviously, it's a little bit more because we have the 0.06. And then essentially that's my price, right? I have 66 times 120, my man-hour hourly rate, which is this. And then I add my material costs, and that's what gives me this price right here. You guys will notice here that we are actually technically charging a little bit more, but that's because I build in some discounts, right? If someone wants to pay us with cash or check, I give them a 10% discount, and my sales guys are allowed to discount up to 5% of the project. So I actually charge this, but if they do all discounts, right, then that number matches this number here. So whether you guys are using a sheet like this or whether you're doing it by hand, either way, it's still the exact same formula, which I'm going to put up on screen. It's your man hours and how long a job takes times your man-hour hourly rate. Add in all of your materials and the material costs times your markup, 1 times your markup, right? And then you just add in any equipment times your markup there. You total all that up, and then that's your price. And so that's why cost per square foot doesn't matter. And I'm going to just show you guys super fast why that is, right? Because imagine if we were doing this job, but this job was in the backyard and we actually couldn't do this by truck, right? So just imagine this was a patio, but we were doing like roughly the same amount of work. I'm going to show you guys the difference in the price, right? And the difference is not the material cost, because if the material cost is the same, well, then the only thing that's actually going to change is our labor to do the project. And not just labor, but even more importantly, our overhead, right? So instead of 13,800, you guys could see if I did a similar project like this in the backyard and we had to demo this out by hand, well, now we're charging 18,800, right? So that's why cost per square foot does not matter, because this job, if you guys remember, there's 30 prep hours to prep the other job. It would take double as long if I had to do all of that by hand and by wheelbarrow, right? And again, it's not the labor, it's the overhead that's the important part. So I hope this part makes sense, guys. That's essentially how you guys should be bidding projects, and I'll see you guys here back in the office. If you don't have time to figure this out for yourself, or you're just worried that you're straight up doing it wrong, you have to fix this ASAP. A loss is not gonna feed you and your family, right? So at Concrete CO, what I've done is I basically developed production rates so that way you can see how long jobs should take. So if you're having a hard time estimating man hours, right? Having a hard time figuring all this stuff out, I have cheat sheets and spreadsheets and systems that you can plug right into, because you not pricing right is probably one of the biggest things that will hurt your business. If you're interested, just book a free strategy call with me to see how these tools can help your business thrive with the right tools and make all of this way easier. I'll leave a link for that below down in the description. All right, guys, after watching this and learning about this, I'm very curious to hear what you guys think my pricing is like, and if my price came out similar to what yours has been, and if you felt like my process was easier because I didn't have to spend so much time manually calculating everything. Leave a comment below. I'm very curious to see what you guys are gonna say down in the description. Hope you guys like this video. I'll catch you guys in the next one.